YouTubers, family and friends, I'm up on the ridge now, here with Rosie, my one cow at the beginning. She's the mother of the herd to come, and I got my feed here for her this morning, which is a mixture of pellets and seed. So there's like alfalfa pellets, and then there's these seeds, different seeds. It's called Slasher. The chickens really like it too. It's corn and all types of different grains, oats and stuff like that mixed in it, and she really loves it. I bring her 2 kilos of that every day when I walk here every morning, and I'm going to try to set this up here. We'll see how it works. Okay, there. And come on, Rosie. Come on. There you go. There you go. Why are you stepping in it? Huh? Because it's over the log? Okay. So that's what I do every day. Give her feed, which I don't really have to do, but I like doing it. Because I like walking here. It's part of my exercise regimen, so I get in 4 miles pretty much every day. And then if I'm walking around here doing my machete slashing, you know, anything's growing up, or that's why I've been clearing this. And then you have to go through for months and hit the roots, right? Try to get the roots out, and that's what this machete does for me. So I work on that for maybe 30 to 60 minutes every day, also walking around the property here, just picking up coconut ferns and piling it on piles and stuff like that, you know, to get my property all cleaned up. You know, as you can see, I got piles here, you know, where I pick up twigs and anything that falls, your big ferns from your coconut trees, stack them up, and then when it ever gets dry enough, which should be in about a month or two from now, should be, you know, end of March, beginning of April, should get real dry, and then I'll burn all the piles, right? So I've showed you guys this many times. This is our coconut steaming shack. We put a fire down below. There's a pit underneath there, and then all the hot smoke goes and steams the copra, which I'll be up on this top level. There's the ladder, and the guys shuck all the coconuts, and then the inner meat of the coconut goes up there, and it all gets steamed, and a lot of the water content comes out, and that's what you call the copra. And here's where the guys sleep at night, and this is their little table for eating their meals and stuff. So yeah, it's absolutely beautiful out here this morning. I'm gonna let Rosie eat her food. We'll go down here by the creek. This is where I like to go. Like I say, guys, this was so thick in here, both sides of this trail. This trail was always here, and that's why it's nice and grassy. But it was so thick, it was unbelievable. You couldn't even walk through most of this. And so a brush cutter with a blade on it cleared most of this, and then the bigger trees, of course, my small chainsaw. And it's great being out here doing this kind of stuff. I did this as a kid, some of the time with my dad. He used to be a logger, and his part-time construction work that he had most of his life. And so I learned how to work from my dad, basically, you know, because, you know, whether us kids liked it or not, we were out there chopping wood, cutting wood, hauling wood, you know, firewood, or logging, helping him log, or whatever it took, right? And we'd have chores every morning, you know, go weed the garden, pick the vegetable that needs to be picked, blah blah, you know. That's what kids need, and these days it's hardly any chores but and lots of video, internet, games, all that. You know, don't get me wrong. I used to be addicted to games for years. I loved video games, even from, I'd say, from the 80s. That's when I started getting into gaming, and I probably was stuck on gaming most of my life. You know, it's a real bad deal because it takes up so much time that you could be spending, you know, trying to earn money for your family, you know, or doing chores or doing things productive. And that whole gaming thing, yeah, it's fun. There's no doubt about that. But it's going to get you in a bad situation if you really don't police it in your life. Now, the last probably 3-4 years, I haven't touched gaming. Sure, it's a temptation. I'd love to get back into it, but I don't touch it anymore because you just sit there, right? You just sit there and game, and it's bad for the soul, bad for the body, bad for everything, bad for your mind. That's why it's so addicting, right? Just like everything that's bad for you. But anyways, this is where I sit and take my rest right here on this chair, drink my water, and this is my little piece of heaven, guys. And this is where I love to be. I love to be here, talk to God, think about family, think about projects I need to get going. You know, think about the future of this piece of property and how I'd like to expand it, and how I'd like to get my fence lines up and get my cattle herd going. You know, and you know, thinking up and planning things I need to get done. Like, once I get my passport, then I got to start planning the next, you know, I'm probably going to be around August. That's my birthday. Maybe July that I'll try to plan a trip, go back to the U.S. So that's kind of the thing I need to do. Plus, at the same time, sign up for Social Security. I'll be 62 in August, so I'm going to sign up for Social Security. And you know, that's the way I've been my whole life. I don't trust the system. I don't trust anybody, rarely anyone. And so 62 is when I'm going to file. Lots of studies out. You know, it's the best bet for me because of my situation, because I don't have any other income coming in, or just a very small amount. You know, I make what, 15,000 a year, something like that. That's what I've made the last 3 years. I had 2 other pensions. One pension ran out in 2022 from my oil company. Then I took a lump sum from my other pension, and then my third pension will be my Social Security, which will start in, actually, because my birthday is at the beginning of the month, I don't get actually my first check till October. So you gotta read into all this stuff. You know, get on your website, create your my SSA account. You know, get all that situated and print out your account status every year, so you know how much you got coming to you. And there's so much that they don't tell you, guys. You really have to watch video. I've watched this guy that was the head of the Social Security office in the U.S. He was the head of it for years, right? And he's retired now, and now he has a YouTube channel. Weir is his last name. Brian or Keith Weir or something like that. And he will let you know about all this kind of stuff that you can be eligible for. That'll boost way higher than what you think that your Social Security actually is going to be. But you got to read into it, guys. You got to study, research. It's the lazy ones that get ripped off their whole life. And why? Because they don't research this stuff. You got to go to the written law, the written documentation of whatever you want to do in life, just to make sure you know what you're talking about, and you don't listen to hearsay of what other people are telling you. You have to get to the source of it. Otherwise, you'll never know the truth. That's the deal with so many things, guys. So that's why these mainstream medias, all that stuff's failing now, because they know that the American people are finally getting a clue these past few years of how they've been lied to their whole lives. Basically, everything's been a lie. The income tax has been a lie. And property tax, and municipalities pretty much own your property. You don't own it. You're just renting it. If you pay a tax on it, you don't own it. That's the truth. And the same thing with the income tax, as it's only is applied to, and people are only liable to the income tax of 3 different categories. If you're a resident of a U.S. territory, so if you're a resident of Guam, Puerto Rico, District of Columbia, that's Washington, D.C., that's a district, that's not a state. If you live there, you're liable to the income tax. Also, if you're a federal employee, you're liable to the income tax. And if you're a federal contractor, you're liable to the income tax. That's what the IRS is. It's internal to the government, taxing government people. That's what it says, and that's what it is. It's not internal to the U.S. borders. It's internal to the government's areas of structure within the government. People don't understand, and see, that's how people have been brainwashed and lied to for decades. So the only way you're going to know is you research your butt off. So, yeah, it's great, and what Trump's doing is awesome too out there. He's kicking butt. He and Elon, I mean, they're doing it with AI. They hit an agency, they're there a week or two, and then they move on to the next agency, right? And they just keep, and then for cleanup, they have another group of people that does cleanup, make sure that these wasteful and corrupt payments are not going out anymore, and the people responsible for these, and they're all being, put on a list for being indicted. It's great. It's what's going on should have happened 50 years ago, guys. But you know what? Ever since JFK, that was the coup of these people that have been corrupt. And the deep state have taken over the U.S. That happened when they assassinated Kennedy and took over the country. That was a coup, guys. That was a coup by the deep state to take over the country. And every single president since then has been a figurehead. And if anyone's ever trying to buck the system, what do? Threaten to assassinate them or do assassinate them. Just like Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan was trying to turn it around. He was trying to reveal the truth and stuff. What did? Did assassination attempt on him. And they told him in the ambulance going to the hospital, you either get to, your life is over right now unless you basically kneel your knee to the deep state, and then we can save your life once we get to the hospital. But if you don't kneel your knee, you'll be dead within the day. So this is the kind of stuff going on, guys. And people don't believe, oh, that's a baloney story. Oh, that's a conspiracy theory. Oh, you're a kook. No, this is all true stuff, guys. And it's all coming out now. It's all coming out. So I love it. That's the only thing, but I don't fully trust Trump. I don't fully trust him. But all I know at this point, he's doing everything that he said he was going to do, pretty much. And we'll see. The whole Israel thing and J.D. Vance being the vice president, and they're both Jews. And this whole Jewish thing, and we're going to take Gaza and have that be a U.S. territory and all that. I don't know. It's a lot of fishiness going on there, guys. But this whole thing of taking Canada and making it a 51st state and Mexico the 52nd state, I'm all for that. I'm all for it. But I doubt if it'll ever happen. The only way that kind of stuff happens is if it's military takeover. You can't you know, take the culture of an entire country and just overnight switch them to another country without there being massive riots or blah blah blah. You know, it would be an absolute mess. But with what power the cartels have in Mexico, it's just like a dual government. There's the government of Mexico, and then there's the cartels, and the government don't mess the cartels, because why? Because the cartels are paying off the government down there all the time, right? It's a huge mess. And if Trump could make it happen where Mexico was a 51st state and Canada, or 52nd state and Canada was a 51st state, that'd be pretty sweet. But it's very low probability. But I think he's on the right track of getting our own house in order, and that's what needs. It should have been done back when. Should have revolted on the government as soon as they did the coup on Kennedy, but they lie through their teeth and, oh, this and that, Oswald, blah blah. It's all crap. It's all bull crap, guys. Just like the whole Russia gate with Trump and all that stuff was just all crock of crap. And who's pushing that? Mainstream media. Why? Mainstream media is owned by these Illuminati, satanic worshiping corporations, and that's what they are. And with huge power that pay off these government deep state entities. And the only thing with Trump, he's not having it. But why isn't Trump already, eliminated? Why hasn't he already been? Because he's rocking the boat big time, right? With all these corporations and these on the take government officials in bed with these CIA and all this, and they're cleaning house. Trump's cleaning house, and his team's cleaning house like crazy. At least that's what it appears to be, right, guys? So we don't really know the complete truth. Maybe everything coming in through our feed is still a crock bull story. We don't know for sure the truth. The only real truth is Jesus' words in the Bible. It's the only truth, guys. It's the only way you're going to have any salvation for your soul. It's the only way, if you just focus on that your life is going to be where you know what the truth is, and what Jesus said and commanded that we do, which is what? Love thy neighbor is number 2. And number 1, love thy Lord God with all your heart, thy soul, thy mind. Jesus said it and commanded it, that we should love one another, not fight each other, kill each other, and that's what Satan wants, and that's what's going on in the world, guys. So I hope you can see the truth, because I love you, and take care for now, and God bless. Bye-bye.